Hello. As we discussed in our previous session, McKinsey's 7S model is often used when organizational design and organizational effectiveness is at question. Well, it's easy to understand the McKinsey model, but it's difficult to implement because of the common misunderstandings of what should be well aligned elements be like. In this session, what will we do? In this session, we will try to understand and we will try to learn the steps how to use that McKinsey model. So, for that, we will go to the slides. Let's go to the next slide. So, how to use McKinsey 7S model? So, identify, first of all, we will go by the steps. There are 5 steps for that. Identify the areas that are not effectively aligned. Number 2, determine the optimal organization design. Number 3, decide where and what changes should be made. Number 4, make the necessary changes. Number 5, continuously review 7S. So, step number 1 is identification. Step number 2 is what actually the optimal organization design is. Actually, this is the determination. And the third is your action stage. Decide where and what changes should be made. Number 4 is actually you are making the action. What are the necessary changes? Implementation actually. And the number 5 is continuously review, that you are continuously reviewing it, either some changes are required or not. So we will go to these steps one by one. So first of all, next slide, identify the area that are not effectively aligned. So what you need to do? First of all, you need to look at all the 7 elements and identify if they are effectively aligned with each other or not. If not, what should you do? You should look for gaps, you should look for inconsistency and weaknesses between the relationships of the elements. So I'm saying it again. If they are aligned, fine. If they're not aligned, look for the gaps, look for the inconsistencies, look for the weaknesses between the relationships of these elements, right? So the most important is the gap identification gap. Gap क्या है, inconsistencies क्या है, and the weaknesses between the relationship. For example, you designed a strategy that relies on quick production of introduction, but the metric structure with conflicting relationships hinders that. So there's a conflict that requires the change in the strategy or the structure, right? Hope you understand this. If not, please put a question in the comments. Let's go to the next slide. Determine the optimal organization to find out what effective organizational design you want to achieve. The purpose is what? To find out what organizational design you want to achieve. So, with the help of top management, your second step is to find out what effective organizational designs you want to achieve. By knowing the desired alignment, you can set your goals and make action plans much easier, right? This step is not as straightforward as identifying how 7 areas are currently aligned in your organization for a few reasons. For example, first, you need to find the best optimal alignment, which is not known to you at the moment. So it requires more than answering the question and collecting the data. Second, there are no templates or predetermined organizational designs that will help you, that you can use, or you will have to do a lot of research for the purpose, right? So let's go to the next step. Decide where and what changes should be made. As I said earlier, this is action stage, right? You have to decide, you have to look for the things, what are the changes that should be made. So which will what will this do if you find that your firm's structure and management style are not aligned with your organizational or with your company's value, you should decide how to reorganize the reporting relationships. Yes, how to reorganize the reporting relationships. What are the changes you need? Which top managers should the company let go, or how to influence them? How to influence them to change their management style as the company is not working in that direction or is not achieving its objectives, which it should be, right? So this is the action stage. Actually, what changes are required? Number four is make the necessary changes. Yes, and this is what? This is implementation stage, as you have done previously. So implementation is what? Change or analysis. And only the well implemented changes have positive effects. Please remember, only the well implemented changes have positive effects. Therefore, what should you do? You should find a people in your company or hire consultants that are best suited to implement the changes. Number five is continuously review the 7S. Let me recall you what were the 7 elements: strategy, structure, system, skills, staff, style, and values. The values are dynamic and change constantly, right? So your values are not constant, but they are dynamic and they change constantly. A change in one element always have effects on other elements and requires implementing new organizational design. So continuous review of each area is very, very important. So dear students, for this was the lecture on how to use McKinsey 7S model. So what you have identification stage, you have determination stage, you have change stage, action stage, you have implementation stage, and on fifth number, you have review stage. So you need to review whatever the changes you are doing continuously. Either these are, aligned with your 7S elements or not. Thank you. Thank you for listening.